Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Rivers Art Colors. My name is Nick Rivers, and you can see we've got Photoshop CS5 popped open. We've got the flats laid down, and now it's time to get busy and work on rendering out She-Hulk. Just in case you missed it, episode number 5 of Rivers Art Draws has the line art for this piece. So if you want to see how that all came together from sketch to finished line work, I'll leave that link to that video either in the description box or in the annotation, so you guys can catch that. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. I have off to the side, to the upper left hand corner, I've kind of have a little color grid for She-Hulk's tone. You can see it right there briefly. That's because I've drawn She-Hulk a couple times and done full renderings of her a few times, and I've found this is the hue, the swatch that I like to go with for the tone of greens. So I've kept that around, and I like giving her a pretty bright green on her, maybe even brighter than I would give the Hulk. I don't know, it just looks kind of cool. It's very vibrant. Um, so yeah, darker forest green for the shadows, a brighter kind of yellow, almost neon kind of look for the lighter tones. When I'm coloring, I like to think of the liner, and I know I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I like to think of the line art as a three-dimensional object. Um, I like to think of it like I'm painting a statue, and that gives me kind of, for the most part, a good idea where the highlights should go, and how you know how the color should look on where the shadows should go, where the highlights, where the midtones should go. Um, and it helps too because um, I actually kind of got a little bit of inspiration for this one from one of the She-Hulk statues my dad has around in his collection, and although the color is a little bit different than what he has, it's actually lighter. The She-Hulk statue he has, she's lighter, and she has on a different costume and a different pose, but kind of got a little bit of inspiration from that because I knew, looking at that statue, she's really tall and muscular, so I kind of wanted to do something sort of like that. Um, I love looking in my dad's hobby room when I can. He's got quite a selection, and I don't know, maybe one day if he allows me to, I'll have to do a little video walkthrough for you guys. It's something else. If you're a comic book fan, and and a collector on top of that, it's a real treat to look at. Um, not only with not only the comics that he has some real old school stuff, as far as comic books goes, but he's also got some great statues and great, any kind of collectible you can think of. It can be from a Pez dispenser to, I don't know, to action figure to a statue. If it's got a superhero on it, he's got it. Um, but it's another one of the reasons why I've inherited. That's where I've inherited my penchant for loving all things comics. It was from him. Um, I think I'm not so much of a. I used to be a collector too. Not so much anymore. um, I don't know. I guess it's maybe one day I'll get back in the game. I just don't have the money for it anymore. It's fun while it lasted, and some of the collectibles that I do still have, I'm fine with just that. I'm actually kind of in the process of downsizing a little bit. That's a whole nother long story I won't bore you guys with, but it's you know, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no harm in it, but you can go a little overboard. There's been times where I've went overboard with my collecting and had to put myself in back into check. But yeah. Anyhow, I've had people ask me what step do I like to do more when it comes to drawing. Do I like to pencil? Do I like to ink? Do I like to color? You know, what part of the whole thing? What do I like to? What do I enjoy the most? And honestly, I'd have to say it kind of depends on the day. And, you know, I like all of the processes. Um, you know, one of the things I went over in my in one of the other videos, I've never considered myself the best inker, so I'd probably say that's the one I don't know. I wish I could step over, but I don't know. It's kind of changed since I've started doing everything digitally. I have a lot more respect for inkers now, and I've got no, it's a little easier for me to do now digitally. I still try to ink things when I can traditionally, um, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a little more enjoyable to do since I've started doing it on the computer, because it's more giving. When you make a mistake inking something traditionally, you know, there's only so much you can do before it becomes a muddled mess. Um, so you know that's one of the upper hands of drawing digitally. Um, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world too. There's a lot of when I do work in on in Manga Studio or in Photoshop, people kind of look at it and they tend to they tend to think that it's easier than it really is, and it's not necessarily. You know, it's another tool. It has its pros and cons, just like anything else. One of the biggest cons being, you know, especially the way that I draw with a tablet. It's, you know, you have a bit of disconnection to get over. Um, you know, you don't have that tactile feel that you do when you're drawing something traditionally, coloring something traditionally. One of the things I ought to post for you guys, I actually did right before this She-Hulk drawing. I was working on another She-Hulk, and it was actually for I guess I can spill the beans on it. I'm not sure when this video is going to be posted, but I'm working on a present for my dad for Christmas, and it's a sketch cover. It's a Force #1 sketch cover. I'm drawing She-Hulk on the cover of it, and I ought to post that one so you guys can see the similarities and the differences between this rendering, this digital rendering, and the traditional rendering. I think it might, you know, you'll see how I've kind of altered things or changed things when I'm doing something with pencil, micron pens, and Prisma markers, um, which I love working with Prisma markers. They're um, it's kind of a rush because, you know, especially when you've done a lot of coloring this way digitally, when you work in something where once you put that marker stroke down or that brush stroke down, it's there and you got to live with it. That's a rush. It's pretty fun working that way because you've got a what's the word I'm looking for? You have to improvise. You have to improvise. Um, and you don't always get the results that you want, but sometimes that can be a good thing. Sometimes you end up surprising yourself. As much as I like I've said in the previous video, as much as I love control, um, sometimes it's fun to just let go and improvise. even when you're working digitally, try giving yourself a time limit. Try giving yourself a limit on how many do-overs you're gonna do. Um, Try giving yourself some limitations, because one of the cons of working digitally is it's almost limitless in what you can do. So you can spend hours just on one thing, but at the end of the day, was that really worth it? Did that really add anything? Because you could be doing that in vain. So sometimes just saying, hey, I'm gonna, like this drawing in particular, it's all done in one sit down. I said, you know what, I'm gonna sit down, I'm going to render this out. Both the line art and the color for this were done in one sit down each. So I sat down, did the line art, sat down, did the colors, and said, I'm not moving, I'm not getting out of this chair until it's done. And that kind of prevents me from, for better or for worse, it kind of it puts restrictions on me. And I don't know, I think sometimes restrictions can be a good thing. I think if you don't work with some restrictions, you kind of, I don't know, you run the risk of, I know I do, I don't want to talk for every artist, but I know that if I were to do that, if I don't put restrictions on myself, this a piece like this might not be done until next year because I keep delaying it, and keep nitpicking it. Um, it's good to have some. It's good to be nitpicky and have some quality control, but also, like I said, you have to, every time you go into a piece of art, you have to decide how deep you want to take it. So. Um, that just about does it for this week, guys. Um, Thank you for anyone that's out there that's sharing my videos. That's I haven't really gotten much on the feedback tip lately, but it's there. I mean, if you guys want to email me, if you want to leave me a comment below, tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. If you have any suggestions for characters or situations you'd like to see me work on for future episodes, let me know. There's a high likelihood that I will get to it. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm out.